The fight is done. We lost.
I'm cautiously optimistic for the Obi-Wan Kenobi show on Disney+. The streamer has delivered good Star Wars stories and bad ones. Luckily, director Deborah Chow is on the right side of that divide, and star Ewan McGregor seems confident it will deliver.
I think it'd be cool. I don't think it will disappoint.
That grin right there is giving me more hope than any of the officially released marketing material. The trailer was good, but I can't tell if the awesome music was doing a lot of the heavy lifting, you know? It's hard to make sense of the show from such a brief teaser. One thing I will say is if Disney put Duel of the Fates in their marketing again only to hoodwink us in the final product, I will go feral.
Word. In the story of Skywalker.
I am not putting up with that again. This will be my Joker origin story. It's cool to see the Inquisitors in live action, even if I'm not quite sure why this wasn't the template. And why didn't they cast Jason Isaacs? He literally said he would do it.
Medic! Not today! You're a fucking stain on that uniform.
Joel Edgerton was one of the greatest castings in the prequels. He's a phenomenal talent on screen and off, and I'm honestly more excited about the fact he might get something juicy to work with finally than anything else about the trailer. I've always liked the idea of Vader popping up in Kenobi's story, since 2018 in fact, so I remain hopeful that this will be an essential chapter in the story of Obi-Wan. The one thing I really hope this Kenobi show doesn't do is reveal a fan favourite only to do nothing with them. Everyone lost their shit when Cad Bane showed up to take on Cobb Vanth, and it was one of the better directed scenes in Book of Boba, touching on the Western imagery that made Star Wars work in the first place. But then just an episode later, Bane kicked the bucket after doing next to nothing else. Bane's presence was barely felt in a 7-episode miniseries that concluded with his own showdown, and his first live-action appearance ended up being a bit of a dud. It's probably now going to be his last live-action appearance too. Disney needs to learn that if they're going to bring in legacy characters for mind-blowing reveals, then the story needs to back that up. Cad Bane, in spite of having a history with Boba and Jango, did nothing to exemplify any interesting themes within the narrative. He was there entirely for show. So if Kenobi is going to cameo anybody that hasn't already been announced, I would like it to be none other than Cal Kestis, and I think there's some really compelling reasons as to why.
Trust. Only. In the Force.
Jedi Fallen Order dropped at a time where Star Wars couldn't have possibly pissed me off more. The Rise of Skywalker blew me away. Because it was so bad. A movie so bad it not only cheapened the sequel movies, but all 9 saga films too. A movie so terribly fast-paced and full of tracking beacons that it barely has time to squeeze in any real emotions. Rey Palpatine, dead Ben Solo, Finn, Poe, Hux, Rose, Luke, the Emperor, all wasted. Anakin's sacrifice was made null and void. Bring balance again? Are we freaking serious with this? At least Lando was fun. Jedi Fallen Order reaffirmed my faith in this ailing franchise. It kept me absorbed in its awesome rendition of the Star Wars world, it moved me in ways I didn't expect, and it featured a fantastic new character in Cal Kestis. It was refreshing to follow a lead character in Star Wars who isn't so torn between light and dark or tempted to break bad. His story concerns his PTSD following the events of Order 66, and the tragic loss of his closest Jedi family. Moving past that pain in a time of hopelessness and an age of empire, Cal's story is ultimately an uplifting one, where his faith is restored and his connection to the Force is healed. In short, not a journey the character of Obi-Wan is unfamiliar with. Cameron Monaghan is a fantastic actor, and you fully feel his presence in the role of Cal in spite of it being rendered fully CG. It would be easy to transition the character into live action, and to go to these lengths to use a physical actor seems to preclude this. Surely Lucasfilm weren't across this for no reason, or maybe Respawn did it so that their creation in the Star Wars world could be used for more things. Either way, I think Monaghan deserves a shot at this character in live action. He would look the same way in the show as he does in the current game. You wouldn't have to change anything, and I think the Star Wars world is expansive enough that you could have Cal pop up for a meaningful storyline in this series between the first Fallen Order game and the second. It's no different to the Avengers having their solo adventures and then hopping back into the Infinity Gauntlet arc. Cal could reference the events of this show in passing too. Basically, the Jedi Fallen Order sequel could still do whatever it wants with its narrative if Cal were to pop up in the Kenobi show. Obviously this is a long shot, but if he were to appear, that would be a truly left field pick that would actually surprise people, shed more light on the video game for TV viewers, and work as a meaningful supporting presence for Kenobi's story. Obi-Wan and Cal feel like 2 Jedi who could really benefit thematically by crossing paths. Both sustained terrible trauma from the events of Order 66, one lost their apprentice, the other lost their master. Now they have both grown beyond their pain in different ways. For Cal, this is a journey explored in Fallen Order. He made peace with his fallen master.
Apprentice, mark well and listen.
Master.
trust only in the Force.
And crucially, has already faced Vader alone and didn't stand a chance.
Come on!
I think it would be cool if they both forged a mutual bond of respect, but also there is something rather bittersweet to it. Neither of them can hold a candle to who they lost. They don't need a master, and they don't need an apprentice. They both agree to continue the legacy together without trying to recreate the past, thus being together in this series pushes them further past their woes. Maybe Cal could be the thing to give Obi-Wan that hope that one day they will succeed. This could only work in a series that structured this surprise reveal with enough time to develop this relationship with the lead. I think this is the kind of reveal you could bring in at the midpoint of your series, after we've been reintroduced to Kenobi and the Inquisitors, and it seems like the Jedi Master might need some new friends before his shit gets Chris rocked.
Oh, wow!
I'm sorry, I couldn't resist. One of the most incredible moments at the Oscars ever. My god. The G.I. Jane gag, the slap, the recovery from Rock, the internet reaction. Oh, this is the kind of drama I live for.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth!
Wow, dude!
Yes.
It was a G.I. Jane jump.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth!
Cal is the perfect character to absolve Kenobi of his guilt. He was the Jedi that trained Darth Vader and indirectly got his master killed, and it would be apt for that guilt to manifest when Obi comes face to face with Cal. The young Jedi Knight is an vengeful soul, and would no doubt console Kenobi for his part to play in the downfall of the Republic. Maybe Cal is the perfect character in this time period to lift Kenobi's spirits. A young Jedi from the generation that succeeded him, not unlike his old Padawan whom he cherished dearly. Cal could represent all the good in Anakin that is now lost. Where he differs from Anakin is where he has the capacity to heal Kenobi, to prove to him that the memory of the Jedi and the Republic are worth saving. This is a rare time in Star Wars where two well-liked characters could meet without one of them having to come back from the dead or find themselves in a time period where we all thought they would be dead and gone, and it could actually enrich the story of the main character rather than provide a distraction. I'm going to talk about some rumours and speculation here, so if this turns out to be in any way true, don't count this as a spoiler. 3, 2, 1. Okay, there have been rumours that there are two duels between Vader and Obi-Wan in the series, and the first ends in a crushing defeat for Obi-Wan. Maybe the time has truly come where Anakin is the most powerful saberist and Force user. Obi-Wan is no longer an underdog winner, it is a mathematical impossibility now. The Vader in this series is likely to be angry and fully entrenched in the dark side of the Force. Seeing Obi-Wan will only fuel this, and the idea that channeling that dark energy is what allows him to finally best him could fuel his convictions. We'd see firsthand him seeing the might of his dark side persona and think, yes, this is what has given me the edge to finally beat my master. It's a long time before we see him turn in Return, so I think you need to flip the switch the other way. This should be a Vader that hasn't yet begun to contemplate how truly tricked he was and just how poor his decisions were. This should be a Vader that is far removed from the Vader that will one day be redeemed. So Cal Kestis isn't just a guest spot, he's integral to stopping Vader. Obi-Wan needs his help in the final duel, which takes the unexpected leaf out of Duel of the Fates rather than any previous duel with Vader. Obi-Wan and Cal take on Vader as a team, and Obi-Wan finally gets to be in the role that Qui-Gon once inhabited. It would also be such a sting for Vader to be defeated by two Jedi united, a painful signifier of the relationship he once had to Obi-Wan, as well as a reminder that truly, the dark side is never stronger. As long as he gives into it, he will always be alone. As for why Cal isn't around by New Hope, well, removing the obvious, he's probably dead, let's suppose that the ending to this show could explore that and set us up slyly for Fallen Order 2. Whilst Obi-Wan keeps his faith in Luke and continues to guard him until a better day comes, Cal takes a different approach. He's already shown he's content to let the Jedi wither in order to keep people safe from bloodshed. Maybe he wanders the galaxy as more of a solitary peacekeeper, tackling problems at local levels. He's like a street level Jedi to Obi-Wan's Avengers level threat. I'd love to see his story take risks to explain why he doesn't pop up in the original trilogy. The galaxy is big and expansive, and maybe we'll discover in the Fallen Order games that he had to stop an evil no one even knew was spreading behind the Empire's shadow. Cal versus the Yazan Vong in this new canon? He could be like Commander Shepard, fighting tirelessly to stop an oncoming apocalypse brought about by creatures no one believes even exists because they're too busy wrapped up in the fight against the Empire. Basically, it would be cool if these characters had more self-contained things to do in this galaxy than just folding everything back into the main saga by the end of their story. Plus, that Obi-Wan cameo in Fallen Order would feel like pretty neat foreshadowing now, right? As with the appearance of the Moon Nur in the Mustafar system, a location created for Fallen Order that is now being used in live action for the show. Seems like a big coincidence. Of course, Cal definitely won't be appearing in Obi-Wan Kenobi, and his appearance isn't essential to it succeeding. But damn, I would really love to see it. If Lucasfilm indeed wants to forge ahead with more seasons of Kenobi, and on the assumption it isn't massively disappointing, then maybe it could happen in the future. Otherwise, I'll be excited for Jedi Fallen Order 2. Damn, that game's going to be fun. Let me know what you think. Are you excited for Kenobi? Will you be pissed if they don't use Duel of the Fates? Should someone like Cal come into the live action space one day? And what do you most want to see from Jedi Fallen Order 2? I personally just want more and more planets. Coruscant would be killer, as would Mustafar. Also, I've wanted to do a video about the contrasts in The Force Unleashed and Fallen Order, as they are my two favourite Star Wars games outside of the complete saga and Super Bombad Racing, obviously. Let me know if that's something you'd want to see in the future, because I would talk about this game till the moof milkers come home. The music here was once again very kindly provided by Samuel Kim, who I'm sure needs no introduction at this point. You can catch his channel in the description below. A big thank you to my full fat tier patron, Dr. Chike. If you'd like to donate money to my Patreon, you can find me at patreon.com/fullfatvideos. If you'd like to find me on Instagram, you can find me at full_fat_videos. And if you'd like to find me on Twitter, you can find me at, you guessed it, at fullfatvideos.